Finally, the future of trucking was here. It was seen gliding silently down an open road, zero pollution. It had no working engine. Nothing's turning those wheels. They towed it to the top of a hill, pointed a camera at the bottom, and let it go. What you're watching here isn't the future, it's gravity. In that one video, built a company worth more than Ford. A company worth $30 billion for a truck that couldn't move a single foot on its own. The man who pulled it off is named Trevor Milton, and Milton didn't build the future, he filmed it. This is Storynomics. It's 2020 and the world has gone electric vehicle insane. Tesla's on a rocket ride, and every investor on the planet is terrified of the same nightmare, missing out on the next breakout company like Tesla. They'd just watched one EV company turn ordinary people into millionaires, and nobody wanted to sit the next one out. There was an ocean of money out there, and it was desperate for somewhere to go. Into the middle of all this walked Trevor Milton. Milton was not an engineer. He couldn't build a truck if his life depended on it. He was a salesman, but not just any ordinary salesman. He was a spectacular one. The kind of man who paints a picture in thin air and then makes you swear that you can see it. And the picture was stunning. Imagine the dirtiest vehicles on the road, massive 18-wheelers. Now imagine them running silent and clean on hydrogen, refueling at Mr. Milton's own network of stations across the country, just like Tesla's supercharger network. He wasn't selling a truck, he was selling the future. He even named the company Nikola. While Musk had taken Tesla, his message was simple: we're the other half of the future. An ode to the pioneering electrical engineer Nikola Tesla. In June 2020, Mr. Milton's company, Nikola, went public through a shortcut called SPAC, which let it skip most of the usual scrutiny and hit the market fast. The second it started trading, the frenzy took over. The stock went vertical, and within days, a company that had never sold a truck or made a real dollar was worth $30 billion. That's more than Ford was worth, a company that had built working vehicles for 100 years. The market looked at the century-old car maker, compared it to Trevor Milton's pile of promises, and decided the promises were worth more than Ford. Milton was a billionaire before he'd built almost anything at all. The whole thing balanced on one question that nobody had really bothered to ask, not the investors nor the analysts. Does the truck actually work? Then, in September 2020, Milton pulled off his crowning move. His company, Nikola, announced a partnership with General Motors, one of the biggest car makers on the planet, was taking a stake in agreeing to help build his truck. The old guard of Detroit, bowing to the new prophet. The stock leapt again. If GM was in, who could doubt it? 2 days later, a tiny firm nobody had heard of hit publish. The title said everything. Nikola. How to parlay an ocean of lies into a partnership with the largest auto OEM in America. The firm who published this article was called Hindenburg Research. They were short sellers. They'd bet money that Nikola would crash, and Nikola screamed about it. But what they had wasn't an opinion. They had receipts, recorded calls, text messages, internal photos, that beautiful video, the truck gliding down the road. Well, it was staged. The truck was never driving, and when confronted, Nikola didn't deny it. The company's defense was that the video only described the truck as being in motion. Well, a boulder that's being shoved off of a cliff is also in motion. They'd rolled a dead truck down a hill and let the world believe it was the future of energy. And it got worse. Milton had bragged on camera that Nikola built its own core technology in-house. The inverters, especially, which he called some of the most advanced on Earth. There's a video of him pointing right at one and taking the credit for it. But here's the catch. Hindenburg zoomed in, and there was a piece of masking tape stuck to the part, covering the label, and underneath it wasn't Nikola's technology at all. It was an off-the-shelf component built by another company that anybody could buy. His revolutionary breakthrough was somebody else's product with the brand name taped over. That piece of tape is the whole fraud in one image. A part he bought and then dressed up as a part that he invented. The whole truth hidden where he thought nobody would look. And the pattern was everywhere. The revolutionary batteries, well, they were from another company that he'd already walked away from. They made claims that the headquarters of Nikola were running on their own solar power. but satellite images showed the solar wasn't there. There were orders from customers worth billions. Most could be cancelled any time by the customers. They'd never actually committed to buying anything. Nikola made the same move over and over and over. He made dazzling claims about the future and sold them as facts. Inside the company, people had felt sick about it for a long time. One person who worked on that fully functional prototype said that they were alarmed, listening to lies pour out of Milton like water as he walked investors and politicians around the floor. When Hindenburg's report dropped, the stock fell out of the sky, losing most of its value overnight. Within days, Milton resigned and simply disappeared. But you don't walk away from this. This is the moment prosecutors started pulling the thread. A quiet resignation didn't look like innocence. It looked like a man running out of a building that he'd just set on fire. In July 2021, federal prosecutors charged him with fraud. The case was so devastating because it was so simple. Milton had knowingly deceived ordinary everyday investors. Not the Wall Street sharks, but regular people watching him on Twitter, YouTube, and podcasts with a fake story about what his company had built. He didn't hide it in a filing nobody reads. He did it out loud on social media, in interviews, straight down the camera. He used the tools of an influencer to pull in small investors who trusted him precisely because he didn't look like Wall Street. He looked like one of their own. In October 2022, the jury took a few hours. They found him guilty. Securities fraud. Wire fraud. In December 2023, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. The storyteller got caught, convicted, and sentenced. The system worked, and his victims might even get something back. Prosecutors were pushing to make him pay hundreds of millions in restitution. Now, here's where it takes a slight turn. Trevor Milton never spent a single night in that prison cell. He stayed free on bond while he appealed. In early 2025, he received a full pardon from President Donald Trump. In the run-up to the election, Milton and his wife donated nearly $2 million to fund backing Trump's campaign. Trump called the prosecution unfair. But look at what the pardon did. Prosecutors were about to order him to pay around $680 million back to the shareholders that he'd simply defrauded. In the instant the pardon landed, the judge lost all power to order a cent of it. The pardon didn't just free the man, it switched off the bill. Every ordinary person who'd trusted his face and put their money in, their last shot at being made, had evaporated. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2025, the whole vision collapsing into dust. The small investors got wiped out, and the man who told the story walked away free. Conviction wiped. Restitution gone. Fortune largely intact. So this was never about a truck. It's the same machine that I keep showing you. A thrilling, comforting story sold by someone with every reason to know it wasn't true yet. Milton didn't need anything fancy. He had a phone, a camera, and the talent to look down the lens into the eyes of the people who wanted to believe him. And the people who got destroyed weren't stupid. They were hopeful. They'd watched Tesla make people rich, and they didn't want to get left behind. Then along came a charming man promising they didn't have to be left behind. The fraud didn't succeed in spite of their hope. It succeeded because of their hope. We like to imagine fraud is something complicated, buried in spreadsheets too technical to spot. But the most dangerous fraud of our age is almost insultingly simple. It's a confident person looking you dead in the eye, describing a future that doesn't exist yet, and betting that you want it so badly you won't check. The most dangerous lie isn't whispered in a boardroom, it's told with a warm smile straight down a camera to a million people who are hoping it's true. That's the economics of a story. That's Storynomics. We've watched companies lie about office space, about blood, about money, and about pills. And now, it's time for a fraud that some argue is allegedly still going on today. One of the biggest aircraft manufacturers in the world, and the secrets that they may be hiding. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.